In the quiet town of Elm Shadow, surrounded by misty mountains and lush fields, a shadow loomed over its people, not from above but from the edge of the whispering woods. The forest was alive, or so the stories claimed, with the echoes of those who dared to tread its depths. It was said that the trees whispered secrets too dark for human ears, twisting the minds of those who listened. Leora, a wandering scholar with an insatiable thirst for knowledge, arrived in Elm Shadow on a chilly evening. She was drawn by the tales she'd read of cursed forests, ancient magic, and voices carried on the wind. With her was her enchanted quill, said to reveal truths hidden from ordinary sight, and a small lantern imbued with a protective charm. The townsfolk, upon learning her intentions, were quick to warn her. "The forest does not forgive," said an elderly woman who claimed to have lost her son to the woods. A blacksmith recounted how a hunter had returned after a night in the forest, only to speak in riddles until madness claimed him. But Leora's resolve was firm. "Every legend holds a grain of truth," she replied, her eyes alight with curiosity. As dusk fell, Leora stood at the edge of the woods. The air seemed heavier here, laden with an unnatural stillness. With a deep breath, she stepped inside. The towering trees closed in around her, their gnarled branches intertwining to block out the moonlight. The whispers began almost immediately, soft and indistinct. Leora paused, trying to discern words, but the sounds faded as she approached. Hours passed as she navigated the labyrinthine paths, marking her way with bits of thread from her cloak. She noted peculiar things: moss growing in unnatural patterns, faint glowing fungi, and carvings on tree trunks in an ancient language she couldn't decipher. It wasn't until she reached a clearing that the whispers became voices, dozens of them, overlapping in a cacophony of pleas, warnings, and chants. In the center of the clearing stood an ancient tree, its bark blackened as if scorched, its roots twisting out like frozen serpents. At its base lay a book, glowing faintly. Leora hesitated, but the whispers urged her closer. When she picked up the book, the voices grew clearer, recounting tales of those who had entered the forest and never left. The book was no ordinary tome. It recorded the names and stories of every soul ensnared by the whispering woods. Determined to uncover the forest's secret, Leora opened the book. The pages seemed alive, shifting under her gaze. Using her enchanted quill, she began to write, seeking to free the souls bound within. With each name she wrote, the air grew colder, and the tree's roots writhed as if in pain. But the forest did not surrender its captives easily. Shadows emerged, their forms twisting into figures of those she'd freed. They warned her of the cost of meddling with the forest magic, but Leora pressed on. Her lantern flickered, its protective charm weakening. As she neared the final page, the forest seemed to come alive. Trees creaked and groaned, their branches clawing at her. The whispers turned into screams, and the ground beneath her feet trembled. The final name belonged to a figure who appeared before her, a woman with hollow eyes and a voice like the wind. "I am the forest keeper," the figure said. "Release me, and the curse will break. But beware, for freedom comes with a price." Leora hesitated, but the cries of the souls spurred her on. She inscribed the name with a flourish, and the world erupted in a blinding light. When she awoke, she was back at the edge of Elm Shadow, the glowing book still in her hands. The forest was no longer the dark, cursed place it had been. The townsfolk marveled at the change, calling her a hero. Yet Leora couldn't shake the feeling that something was amiss. That night, as she prepared to leave Elm Shadow, she opened the book. The pages were blank, save for one name, her own. And deep within her mind, she heard the faintest whisper, a reminder that the forest never truly let anyone go. Thank you for journeying into the world of mystery and magic with us today. If you enjoyed this tale, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more enchanting stories. Let your imagination wander, and we'll see you next time for another adventure in the realms of fantasy. Until then, stay curious and keep dreaming.